So for this little mini lesson, we're going to talk about ATP. ATP deserves its own little lesson because it's so extremely important in living organisms, and you probably have never heard of it. So ATP is a molecule. It stands for adenosine triphosphate. And so we use the letter A for the adenosine, the T for tri, and the P for phosphate. So as you can see in this figure to the right here, it's showing ATP, the A for the adenosine, and then there's 1, 2, 3 phosphate groups. So that's what the triphosphate refers to, the fact that there are 3 phosphate groups. And ATP is an important molecule because it basically stores energy. So it allows chemical reactions to proceed because it can provide energy to these chemical reactions. And we also talked about transport proteins and how in active transport, the transport protein required energy to be able to pump the molecules against their concentration gradient across the membrane, and that required energy for active transport. And the energy that can be used can be in the form of ATP. So ATP is kind of like this universal energy currency. It's a form that can be easily utilized by a wide variety of different sources and different chemical reactions. So ATP stores energy. Now, if you look at this molecule, having those 3 phosphate groups, it looks kind of, like it's not very sound, like it's not very balanced, the molecule. It's kind of like it's got these 3 phosphate groups off to the side. And that's very true. It's actually having these triphosphates, these 3 phosphates. It's very easy to break off one of these phosphate groups. And so you see here this arrow going off to the side with the phosphate coming off. And it says usable energy for cells. So when one of those bonds between the phosphates is broken and a phosphate is popped off, energy is unleashed. And we have now just 2 phosphate groups left. So it's adenosine diphosphate. So we have the D for the diphosphate instead. Now, that doesn't mean that this ADP then just kind of goes in the garbage dump and it's not useful any longer. We can actually regenerate ATP by simply popping on another phosphate group. So we can get this phosphate or attach this phosphate only if the ADP takes on energy. So here you see energy from sunlight or energy from food. So breaking down food can help to generate ATP. Plants produce ATP when they go through the process of photosynthesis. So they're taking light energy and they're kind of storing it up in this ATP molecule. So that's what I want you to kind of get out of this slide, is that ATP is the form that stores energy when you have that triphosphate. Once that phosphate is broken off and it's unleashed, energy is going to come out. Right? And we can use that energy to drive chemical reactions, to move molecules across membranes. This is the energy that's powering your life. This is the energy that's helping you to have your muscles contract. So this is very important. So once we take off the phosphate group, it becomes adenosine diphosphate, but we can attach a 3rd phosphate back to it. And when we do that, we're storing up energy within the molecule so that gives us ATP back around again. And you'll be hearing a lot more about ATP in the next couple of chapters.